number one goal is to protect vital local revenues. That's the first and foremost goal this year, and that is the reason for this proposition that is a constitutional amendment to prohibit the state of California from heretofore ever again taking local tax dollars that we all pay to provide local services in our cities throughout the state, to prevent that from happening. Back in just a few years ago, you'll remember a ballot measure called Proposition 1A. We felt that proposition was there to prevent the state from taking any further tax dollars, and it did pass overwhelmingly. However, the state transitioned from taking local tax dollars to taking local redevelopment agency dollars, as well as transportation tax dollars. Now, I think we all recognize we all are in tough economic times. We have in Rancho Cucamonga specifically weathered the storm throughout many, many years of state takeaways. The state has seen an opportunity to not cut its services and continue to try to fund every single service that it has, and not and do so by taking local government revenues. Local government, in my view, is the closest to the public that there is in the state of California or any state in the nation. It's where you get to come to the city council meetings in your local jurisdictions and be able to speak to the local elected officials about your priorities, your wants, your desires. And it's growing increasingly difficult for our city to fund the vital services and sustain those services. We've reached a point where we're at the very edge of starting to have to be forced, if there's further takeaways, to reduce service levels. We have not reduced any programs. We have used our reserves, the rainy day money that we have saved over the years, something we need to convince the state they need to do. This measure does three primary things. It protects local taxpayer, public safety, and transportation. It's called the Public Safety, Local Taxpayer, and Transportation Protection Act. And it is, again, like I said, a constitutional amendment. It will prohibit the state from taking or borrowing or redirecting local taxpayer funds dedicated to public safety, emergency response, and other vital local government services. It also will protect vital dedicated transportation and public transit funds from state raids. And lastly, it protects local taxpayers by keeping our local tax dollars local, where there's more accountability to the voters of this community and all communities, and by ensuring once and for all that our gas taxes go to fund road improvements.
This is a summary of the major state continuous takeaways that affects the city of Rancho Cucamonga. It started in 1992-93, and each year since then, this reflects these major takeaways. This money is lost permanently to the city of Rancho Cucamonga. This money does not ever return to our local agencies. And these are monies that are generated locally, always have been local revenues until the state has taken those revenues. Next slide, please. The next slide, while this does not show every single year, this shows the periodic times in which the state has taken one-time redevelopment agency monies. And while they're not annual, if you look at the millions of dollars there, it does reflect a major concern for us. And if you look at the last two bars, 09-10 and 10-11, those are the current potential takes that the state may have if the lawsuit in which we're involved in now is not won. If the local agencies lose, redevelopment agencies lose that lawsuit, then we will have to be cutting those checks to the state. This year in May, we're supposed to cut a check to the state from the redevelopment agency of $32.1 million, and then the following year it will be another $6.6 million.
Local governments throughout the state are required to balance their budgets each and every year. We take the amount of revenue and we take the amount of services and we balance the two, and we always adopt a balanced budget each and every year. The state hasn't done that for many years. However, then that's what we're looking for. Let us keep our revenues. Let us survive on our historic revenues, and state you survive on what you have and balance your budget.